So who's going to win the 2020 Canadian Premier League season? I'm going to tell you who exactly is going to win and where everyone's going to finish in this year's season preview and predictions video, so make sure you stay tuned. Hey guys, it's Curtis here and you're watching my channel, AFC Curtis, your home for all things Canadian Premier League content right here on YouTube. So if you're new here, maybe consider hitting that red subscribe button. Alright guys, so this has been one of the hardest things ever to predict. Has been the 2020 CPL season because it's only 35 games in total. Every team will play at least 7 games. Anybody I feel can beat anybody on any given day right now in this 2020 season, just based on looking at the rosters coming into this year. And it was hard. I'm gonna tell you that, guys, right now. It was hard. I did a lot of research, a lot of sleepless nights, haven't slept in days trying to predict this thing. But I think I have it pretty close to how it's gonna all pan out. So I'm gonna show you guys my rankings from who's gonna finish in 8th place after the first group stage, and who's gonna make it to the second group stage, and then who's gonna make it to the finals, and who's gonna win. I'm gonna let you all know all that right here in this video. So let's get started with a team that will finish in last place and 8th place. Atletico Ottawa. Alright, so guys, I know, I'm picking on the new team, but I mean, come on, they're gonna finish 8th place because there's so many mysteries to this team, so I can't even really peg for sure how good they really are gonna be. I don't think any of us really can until we actually see them start to play. They're also very thin on the roster. I think they have one of the smallest rosters as of the recording of this video here coming into August. They have one of the shortest rosters just days away from the kickoff of the season. They don't have a whole lot of depth really at center back. I think if I can remember correctly off the top of my head, they only have 2 center backs anyways, and they're both under 25 or 25 and under. And then other than that, they have a lot of wingers and they're trying to sign more wingers, and I don't really know what their formation will be this year. And on top of all that, Mistas kind of seems like he's an unproven coach at this high professional level because he's really only coached at the academy levels. So there's different levels that can vary, and he might not be even used yet to the style that the CPL will bring in 2020. So there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of variables. Yes, they do have one of the top playmakers from last season and one of the co-assist leaders in Ben Fisk there. You know, he is a solid player, great player up front for them. They also have one of the best, I should say, players in general, I think, in the league, if not the best, coming in here this year. And 32-year-old Francesco Acuna, who was a pretty big signing for them this past offseason from Liga MX down in Mexico. And a lot of other great internationals too, by the way. But I just don't know, like, who's going to be the guy that's going to score goals for them. I don't know if Malcolm Shaw, one of the only center forwards, or the only center forward as of the recording this video that they have right now, I don't know if he's able to score enough goals to get them to where they need to go this season. And I think chemistry, them being a new team, unfortunately, I just think they're going to be 8th. Coming at number 7 is going to be FC Edmonton. Yes, I know, another one here. It's kind of a blow. I feel bad because it's a 10-year anniversary, oldest team in the league, really, and I want them to do well, but I just don't know in this year's campaign. It's going to be tight for them. I really don't know, though, in terms of goal scoring, other than Easton Ungaro, who else is going to be able to put that ball in the back of the net on a consistent basis that we can consider them a goal-scoring threat, other than, like I said, Ungaro. He's the only player that's from last season's roster that has 5 or more goals that's on this year's roster, by the way, in the CPL from last season. So just pointing that one out there. They do have a lot of good creators, though, this season that did sign, and Kevin Aleman, Hansen Bokai, as well as Eric Zetterberg there in the midfield and on the wing there. So for Bokai on the wing there. So I mean, this team has improved. They got a lot of good playmakers that can help create some more chances for goals to be scored. But we need to see Tommy Amiobi step up big if they are going to want to challenge for a top 4 spot this season. Ungaro's got to keep his form from late last season, which I think he can throughout this year. I think we're looking at maybe 4 or 5 goals from him in this tournament, which could be the cap for most goals in this tournament for Golden Boot. Who knows? You got Connor James, though, in nets, which I think will be just like last season throughout the year. He was solid this year. I think he'll be just as great for them in the backfield there. You got Amir Didic, the top center back, or one of the top center backs, I should say, in the league there back there. You know, where's Ramon Sario going to go? There's just a lot of different, there's a lot of different unknowns and variables, I feel, with this team, and offensively I'm just not too sure about them this year, so I'm gonna have to put them in 7th. Coming at number 6 here is Valor FC here. So I think they will be improved this season from last season, but I just, again, with scoring here, I'm not too sure who's going to be the guy they're going to rely on in terms of scoring. I thought if they would bring back Tyler Tardo, he could be the guy. Only as an 18-year-old this year, I think he could be that guy that they could rely on, but he's not here anymore. They don't have Bustos, don't have Petrasso. They definitely shifted a lot from last season and this season. They really rebuilt results. They brought in new players, but can guys like Brett Levis, can guys like Fraser Aird, can they replace a Bustos and Petrasso from last season? I don't know. I think they're going to have a lot of good players coming in that midfield. I think the midfield's among the better midfields in the league. I think their back four has improved. They got the new League One signing there at left back there. Arnold Baku Matu there is coming in there, who I think is going to be quality signing there at left back for them. And then I think James Pantemis and net for them coming on loan from Montreal Impact will be huge. A lot of people saying that he could be like kind of like a Marco Carducci type here in the CPL this season, kind of this big breakout season this year with Valor. But I mean, in this tournament, I mean, anyone can beat anybody, and I feel like Valor is going to be one of those kind of bracket breakers of clubs where they're going to steal points from those top clubs this season. And I want to say they can challenge for number 4 spot, and I think it's going to be close really between 6, 5, and 4. But at the end of the day, I think they'll just miss out because I'm not too sure where that goal scoring is going to come from. I mean, just looking at the roster right now for this season, every single player on this season, none of them has scored double digits in goals over the last 3 seasons in any league that they played in. So I don't know what that really means for the future. I don't know, because this is a small season. You only really need to score a few goals. It's not a full 28-game season, but I think it kind of will play into it a little bit. I think they're going to be good everywhere except for the forwards. I hope I'm wrong, but unfortunately, Valor, I think you're going to come in at number 6. Coming in at number 5 is the HFX Wanderers. And I think just like FC Edmonton, how they're going to be hit with the Raul Tito not showing up because of the COVID and the closures of the borders, so we're not able to bring him in. We're also going to see the Brazilian defender for HFX Wanderers, Eric Santos, who was Stephen Hart there a couple weeks ago did state that he's going to be a huge part of this team moving forward. Unfortunately, we're not going to see that in 2020, which like the Tito signing, Santos, I really would. Both those players I would like to see. Won't get to see him in 2020. That's a huge blow. But unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, I should say, for the Wanderers, they are able to move forward with 2 really solid center back options though, in Peter Shala and Jeff Ard. So I think these 2 center backs are going to be strong for them in the backfield there. I think they're going to be strong for the net out. This team, their back four is pretty solid. Their midfield's, I think, top 4 in the league, to be honest with you. And then I think their forward group as well is really good. I think it's top 4 or 5 in the league, in my opinion, as well. There's a lot of flexibility with this roster. I think this Wanderers team, just like Valor, like I stated in my last pick there at number 6, I think just like Valor, I think the Wanderers are going to keep it very close to whoever comes in at number 4, number 3 even. And I think they're going to be a kind of a bracket breaker where they're going to be stealing points a lot from those bigger teams. And it could even end up in 4th, to be honest with you. I wouldn't actually be surprised of that if the Wanderers do make it in that number 4 spot. But in this rankings here, in my predictions, I think they'll just miss out by a point or 2. They'll finish in number 5 seed, but this team's looking deadly. I mean, Joe Morelli, who's an attacking midfielder, Brazilian they brought in, he's going to be there this season. He's going to be crafty, talented playmaker in the middle of the park for them. Super excited to see that. Luis Belangoyeta as well, with Andre Rampersad in the midfield. Please, I mean, that's going to be really deadly right there. So, and up front there, I mean, they got Marshall, Garcia, and Riggy. So, I mean, this team's looking pretty good. Too bad they won't be able to play in front of the Kitchen this season, but the Kitchen will be digital for them, and I think they're going to end up having some pretty positive results this year. They're definitely better this year than last year. Coming in at number 4 is going to be Pa Modo Cause Pacific FC. They're way better this season than last season, and yes, that's right, they made number 4, which means they crossed the line. They are in that 4-team second group stage there. This team's looking deadlier than ever, really, way better than last season. Not only do they have the core from last season to still build off of, guys like Campbell, Verhoeven, as well as even guys like Kane Chung there, the U23 core they have, but they added. I mean, this team is scary how good they are now with my guys like Marco Bustos, Alejandro Diaz, Callum Irving, Dixon, Thomas Mueller-Jaguar there at center back there is going to be a solid pick there in the backfield there for them. They also got a healthy Marcel de Jong, so at left back. So I mean, this year, this tournament is going to be all for Pacific FC to be that dark horse contender. I honestly think not only for number 4 that they can finish, I think they could challenge for number 3. Maybe not number 1 or 2, but definitely 4, potentially 3, to be honest with you. I mean, this team is exciting. They're going to be exciting to watch this season. Are they going to be champions? I don't know, but if they can just make it to that next group stage, anything is possible. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Cavalry FC. They're from the city of Calgary. This team's still pretty good. They're easily contenders. Without, though, guys like Richard Luca and Jose Escalante, they're not able to come in and join us this season due to the COVID and to the border closures there. I can't really say you can just say that Cavalry can run away with the title this year, because I don't think so. That's why I put them at number 3. I think the new additions of Zabi, as well as Simmons and Haber there have been great additions to the club, and they're still going to play that physical brand of style of 90 minutes of hell style, as I like to say, Anton Willen Jr. likes to say, and call a system there. They're going to be physical. They're going to grind you down. I think that their style of play play will definitely hurt a lot of teams the later they go in this tournament. But are they going to win the championship? I don't know. I think they're for sure contenders. Number 3, I think, is that, you know, the worst that they could do, and I think they will finish number 3 to make it to that next group, and then they'll probably make some noise in that group and maybe make it to the finals. You're going to find out later in this video if I say they make it to the finals or not in my predictions. Expect a lot of 1-0 victories from Cavalry this year. They're going to grind you down, and third place is where I think they'll finish. Coming in at number 2 is going to be York 9 there. I think this is the team, man. This team is going to challenge for Forge FC's title there this year, for sure, 100%, because this team is just so stacked. I actually do believe they're second best in the league now. They're just as good, if not a little bit better than Cavalry FC this year. I think they're going to prove it to you guys. I mean, they got a high caliber goalkeeper in Nate Ingham. They got 2 amazing fullbacks in Abzi and Donor. They got a great depth there at center back, led by Mr. Iron Man himself, Luca Gasparotto. In the midfield, they got Aparicio coming back. They got Chris Manila there. They got on the wings, they got guys like Telfer and Petrasso, and then up front they got Gabriel Vasconcelos, a new signing there this offseason, who I think is going to make some noise in the Golden Boot conversation there. So I think this team is stacked from net out. This team is fantastic. Jamie Brennan's got a super squad here. If they don't finish in the top 4, I think that's a huge disaster season. I think they'll finish second in this opening group stages, make it to the next group stages, and make even bigger noise in that next group stages. Second place is where I think York 9 is going to finish. You guys got to watch out for this team. And now here we go. Coming into first place here in the opening group stage will be Forge FC, your defending CPL champions. This team is stacked, man. I mean, it's ridiculous how good they are. I thought when they lost Tristan Borges, they might take a step back this year. Then they signed Paulo Sabaka from Belgium there, who's supposed to be the Tristan Borges replacement. Those are pretty big shoes for him to fill, but I think he could do it and definitely fill that hole, that gap this season. On top of that, though, they got the underrated goalkeeper, one of the most underrated goalkeepers in the league, to be honest with you, and Tristan Henry, another really underrated player in Kwame Rawuwa, who's a fantastic playmaker, who's probably going to move up to the midfield now, which is going to be scary for forwards. There's for defenders on the opposing team, because at left back now they signed Maxim Tossois there. They also have Mo Boubali. I mean, this team is going to be fantastic over here, this Forge team. They also have one of the best players in the CPL here, in Kyle Becker. And on top of all that, they still got guys like Anthony Novak, Chris Nanko, who I think is going to make some noise up front for them in goal scoring this year. I mean, this team from the net out, Forge FC, is still super stacked for me. First place all day here. Alright, so the next group stage here. So the top 4 teams making it to this next group will be PFC, Cavalry FC, York 9, as well as Forge FC. Out of these 4 teams, the 2 teams I think will qualify for the CPL Championship Final. I think it's going to be a 905 Derby CPL Final this year. I think it's going to be Forge FC and York 9, the 2 best teams in that opening group stage. I think will be the 2 best teams in this next group stage. And I think my top 4 in this next group, how they'll be ranked, is going to be the exact same as that first group there. I think it's Forge first, second York, third Cavalry, and 4th will be PFC. I think it's going to be super tight, all between 1 or 2 points between everybody. But I think the finals will be Forge versus York, and then to win the CPL Championship in 2020, my 2020 CPL champions, mark the calendars, I believe, and it's going to be super close, so no disrespect to anybody, because it's going to be tight. I'm just going to feel this tension right now. You can almost cut it like a knife, because I don't want to say it, because I'm going to get a lot of hate from the other 7 clubs already in the comment section. But I do believe that Forge FC will repeat as CPL champions. That is right, Forge FC will repeat. It's going to be like a huge 2-1 or 3-2 final against York this year. York's going to play it super close. I think York is going to be right there with them until the very end. But I just think, I mean, Forge FC is so good. I mean, they got David Edgar, Daniel Crutzen, Henry Awuwa. I mean, I already touched on some of the new signings just a few seconds ago. I mean, Forge FC, to me, they're going to go all the way, first in the first group, first in the second group. Barely, they're going to do it. They're going to go to the finals, and they're going to do what they do best and get it done in the finals. And they're going to win the CPL Championship. Back-to-back champions, the first ever back-to-back champions, Forge FC. Well, guys, that was my video of this week. Let me know what you think down in the description below. How do you see it all unfolding? Who is your 1 through 8? Let me know down in the description below as well. Who do you think is going to win the CPL Championship in 2020? It's a pretty hard year to predict, isn't it? If you like this video, definitely hit that like button. If you want to see more content just like this, definitely hit that red subscribe button and little bell notification so you get notified each and every week when I drop a brand new episode just like this one. And of course, you can also watch my content over at northernstarting11.com. I'll have a link for that website down in the description below. And other than that, guys, we'll see you next week.